This is Infants on Thrones.
Minisode.
It's Church House Rocky, a ship off the block from your favorite Church House Rock.
Yes. So I've invited you here tonight to talk about Schoolhouse Rock, or
it's Schoolhouse
the
Rocky.
variation.
It's
Chip
Chip
off
off
the
the
block.
block. It's your favorite Schoolhouse
Schoolhouse
Rock. Yeah,
exactly. And then the Church House Rock variant that you did the other last month, because that was just the kind of thing when I just know, based on the fact that we're right around the same age, and the fact that you have the same kind of ear for lyrics that I do, and so that I knew that in the same exact way that I have every single one of those songs memorized, that I knew Glenn would too. So then we were talking about it as a thing, that maybe obviously our younger listeners are not as familiar with. That as a thing that is a real Gen X thing.
Yeah.
That they even made a wonderful Simpsons parody of it about the gay amendment.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one.
Hey, who left all this garbage on the steps of Congress?
I'm not garbage. I'm an amendment to be, yes, an amendment to be. And I'm hoping that they'll ratify me.
There's a lot of flag burners who have got too much freedom. I want to make it legal for policemen to beat them, 'cause there's limits to our liberty. Least I hope and pray that there are, 'cause those liberal freaks go too far.
Why can't we just make a law against flag burning?
Because that law would be unconstitutional. But if we change the Constitution...
Then we could make all sorts of crazy laws.
Now you're catching on.
What the hell is this? It's one of those campy 70s throwbacks that appeals to Generation Xers.
Yeah, but the Schoolhouse Rock, I don't really even remember. It was like commercial time during Saturday morning cartoons, and instead of a commercial for Cheerios, there'd be a Schoolhouse Rock thing that was just a really quick snippet, because it was never like a 30-minute series where they'd play them all back to back.
It was in the middle of the commercials. It would be between other cartoons.
Yeah.
And like you say, during the commercial time. And I think it was because there presumably was a law about this, but at the time, there was an idea that children's television needed to be educational.
Uh-huh.
Which I think everybody's given up on, probably as an idea.
Yeah.
But I think that was the idea about it. And they made all of these things, especially the history ones.
Yeah.
They made them in the lead up to the bicentennial, which everybody was super crazy about. I mean, so people don't remember this, but in 1976, when they had the bicentennial, like everybody painted all their houses, like flags, and it was, everyone was really excited about that.
Yeah.
So, but the funny thing about it is that how, just the crazy, let's say, unrevisionist history that was taught or indoctrinated, in these Schoolhouse Rock ones. And so the, like, for example, they do this, there were a lot of them that are because of the bicentennial, there's a lot of them that are based on the early history, the colonial history of the U.S. and the Revolutionary War history. And so one of them is, like, the shot heard round the world was the start of the revolution.
The British are coming! The British are coming! Now the ride of Paul Revere set the nation on its ear, and the shot at Lexington heard round the world. When the British fired in the early dawn, the War of Independence had begun. The die was cast, the rebel flag unfurled.
And like famously, like the shot that heard round the world, in that battle, that isn't known whether it was the the Americans or the British who fired that shot. But in the song it goes, and when the British fired in the early dawn, the War of Independence had begun. The die was cast,
so
the rebel flag unfurled. So in other words, so we know very, very for sure that that's the one. And likewise, the beautiful thing about the colonial one, which was called No More Kings, is that there's an absolute, like, the colonists have this absolute social contract with the king.
Oh, they were missing Mother England. They swore their loyalty until the very end. Anything you say, King, it's okay, King. It's kind of scary on your own. Gonna build a new land the way we planned. Could you help us run it till it's grown?
Which at the very beginning, it's like, gonna build a new land the way we plan, would you help us run it till it's grown?
Yeah, right.
So from the beginning of the colony, there's this very clear social contract, with the king. When it's grown, that's the time it's going to be up.
Yeah.
And then the worst one, is elbow room.
One thing you will discover when you get next to one another is everybody needs some elbow room, elbow room. It's nice when you're kind of cozy, but not when you're tangled nose to nosy. Oh, everybody needs some needs a little elbow room. That's how it was in the early days of the USA. The people kept coming to settle, though the East was the only place there was to go. The president was Thomas Jefferson. He made a deal with Napoleon. How'd you like to sell a mile or two?
Or 3 or 100 or 1,000.
And so in 1803 the Louisiana Territory was sold to us without a fuss and gave us lots of elbow room. Oh, elbow room.
Which is almost...
it's the Manifest Destiny song, right?
Yeah, I mean, and even the word elbow room is almost like the, Hitler's breathing room thing, why the Germany needed Eastern Europe or whatever, right? But anyway, so it's Manifest Destiny, elbow room, and there's even a section of it where the line is...
There were plenty of fights to win land rights, but the West was meant to be. It was a manifest destiny.
There were plenty of fights to win land rights, and the colonists are essentially, getting attacked by Indians, but the West was meant to be. It was a manifest destiny.
Yeah.
So the Indian massacres and the genocide or whatever of the American Indians was completely. It was a manifest destiny. What can we do?
Sure. It was destined. Yeah.
So anyway, we had just talked about that, and then you ended up making. And then as soon as I said that this could be a thing where we could do like a church house rock,
right.
You just immediately ran with that, and it literally was like 15 minutes later that you produced that episode.
It was fun.
It was amazing,
Well.
and it was just like.
Hey, do you know about the USA? Do you know about the Promised Land? Let me tell you about the Book of Mormon. Yeah, and so that one was based on the preamble, and I actually I played it for my daughter tonight because she didn't remember when I had put that together, and she's like, "Oh, that's the preamble," and she knew it. It helped her take tests in high school.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So that was good for her. But so you recorded this. Was it 2 months ago? Whenever we did it, but we just decided to sit on it because we'd done so many singing episodes. We thought, let's give the singing a break for a while. But now it's back. It's time.
Well, because what had happened was you'd done this thing in like we talked about it, and then you instantly were able to create something that it was incredible, and it just like that's insane, And so then I stayed up and spent the whole night trying to do it too, and it took me all night.
And it's great.
15 minutes. And so what I had decided to do with Elbow Room, which like I say is the is this one about Manifest Destiny and really exterminating the Indians, I wanted to talk about just the evolution of how you go from Joseph Smith's ideas, where he is a person who is alive and believing in magic, and how that has been maintained in the Restoration, where priesthood, the idea of priesthood is just often just equated, or people think about the priesthood as being magical, and then simultaneously how that has led to also authority claims, so that there's some people that have these special keys and other people don't, which is completely inimical to my idea of priesthood. So that was the thinking behind this song. One thing you will discover when you get next to one another is everybody needs some priesthood power, priesthood power. It's nice when you've got authority to move the mountains over plains or seas. Everybody needs some priesthood, needs a little priesthood power. That's how it was in the early days of the Mormon Church. Since elders were apostles, everyone was low. Inflation was the only place there was to go. The first elder of the church was Joseph Smith. He quickly tired of sharing power with all the other elders in the church. And so in 1832 he prayed, and he got a revelation true, making him the president of priesthood power. Oh, priesthood power, everybody needs some priesthood power. The utmost crust, in God we trust, there's authority there. Melchizedek was once a mighty king. He ruled over Salem and everything. He could heal the sick and raise the dead. He ordained apostles Peter, James, and beloved John to pass his mighty holy power on. They showed up and gave Joseph super duper priesthood power. The way was opened up for unchecked tyranny. There were plenty of foes, cut off with woes, but the prophet held the keys. Dispensational authority. The Gentiles, apostates, and Missourians, the anti-Mormons and sectarians, they rebelled against his priesthood power. The mob martyred Joseph and Hiram both. For vengeance, Mormons took a strict blood oath until they decided in the end to conform for good. And now the corporate heirs can jet with the Gentile elite. But it took conformity to buy into Wall Street. Now Mormons have become respectable, even if Mitt's not quite electable. Although women don't got no priesthood power. But if there should ever come a time when social pressures start to realign, we'll pull back like with the blacks again and again. Oh, priesthood power. Everybody needs some priesthood power. The utmost crust, in God we trust, there's authority there.
And you also, because you were a little concerned about putting this out because you don't want it to seem like you're mocking all forms of priesthood power or like the power that could come in ministry, which to me it wasn't. It was just a very straight satire of the Mormon version of it, and then I'm almost getting away from that a little bit and kind of the Mormon flip-flopping in recent years around priesthood power with the blacks and possibly ordaining women is in there. But the church kind of sold out so that they could get in good with Wall Street. That was a great line.
So I don't want to be saying, I think that the problem with it is that because Joseph Smith was at this time period when he still literally believed in magic, I think he was a real believer in magic, that it continues to get mixed up. But as opposed to having real priesthood or real priesthood power being about believing in physical magic, there is real transformational magic of in terms of having transcendent things happen in life which don't involve physical magic. In other words, there is there is actual power that I'm not trying to flippantly.
No, it's like the mind over matter kind of. Like I believe I can lose 100 pounds, and so I'm going to work at it, and I'm going to lose 100 pounds, and I've really transformed my life. Things like that.
Yeah, that certainly happens. Yeah, that would certainly be an example. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or somebody who has never smoked a cigarette in their life, but they decide I'm going to start smoking vapor, and they become completely addicted to vapor. Like those kinds of transformative. It's not like metaphysical magic. It's more physical.
That was physical, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's obviously a physical addiction in that case.
Right. Okay. Cool. So do you have any other thoughts in mind for other future Church House Rock installments?
Yeah, I was thinking. Where did that one go? It's to interjection, and so it's.
Oh yeah.
Patriarchy.
Interjections.
Hey, that's smart! Ouch, that hurts! Yeah, that
And so it's like the women wanted to go in, and the men closed the doors. Something like that. It was about the ordained women thing. And I can't remember how it goes. But patriarchy. Anyway, I had done that one, and then there was,
and then the kids are always going, "Ouch! Hey!"
Exactly. You just crossed the line.
Interjection.
Don't you know that? Don't you know that women have the right to get to bear the kids?
Yeah.
Whatever all they're saying.
That's good.
So that one would be funny, and then definitely the Interplanet Janet is the one for the whole Kolob. And Abraham.
Nice.
They say our solar system is centered on Kolob.
Nice.
However you want to say it, and so go through that whole thing.
I want to do something with "I'm just a bill, yes I'm only," but instead do like "I'm just the proclamation," like the proclamation on the family. I'm not sure I can make it work, but I've got that idea going. And then I really like the conjunction junction. What's your function?
Yeah.
And I wrote something to you.
You made something about that one. That was really funny. Yeah,
there was something with that, but I don't remember what it is now. But
and then I was also thinking that the lolly lolly lolly, that one is almost like a missionary one, right?
It could be.
It's like lolly testimonies here, or I don't know, something like that, or apologetics here. I don't know. Poly. I don't know how you do it. But anyway.
It could be polygamy.
Polygamy.
Poly. Get your amorous here. Polyamorous here. Okay, so listeners, help us out. If you have Church House Rock songs or ideas, put them on the website, and we'll turn them into something remarkably horrid.
Yeah.
And fun.
Mother, daughter, sister, get polygamy here.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Compose it on the spot.
Nearly 15.
Right.
All right.
Cool.
Ready, Pop? Yep. Ready, son?
Uh-huh.
Let's go.
Let's go.
1, 2.
Lolly, 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 get your adverbs here. Lolly, 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 got some adverbs here. Come on down to Lolly's.
Hi, this is Nancy from Minneapolis, Minnesota, the Great White North of the United States. You can comment on this episode on the website, infantsonthrones.com. And if you really like what you hear, give the Quorum a 5-star rating and write a short review on iTunes. I did. And if you act fast, you could put your review right next to mine, and we could be buddies. Anyone for the closing prayer?
Conjunction, junction, what's your function?
Hooking up words and phrases and clauses.
Okay, no. It's consecration unction. What's your function? Healing up Mormons with fevers and rug burns.
Oh, no.
Consecration unction, yeah. Because it's like consecrated oil.
Yeah.
Consecration unction, what's your function? Yeah. I just was happy when I remembered the word unction.
Yeah.
What if people say you're not good enough to be in the Constitution?
Then I'll crush all opposition to me, and I'll make Ted Kennedy pay. If he fights back, I'll say that he's gay.
Good news amendment, they ratified ya. You're in the U.S. Constitution.
Oh, yeah. Doors open, boys.
Thank you for listening to Infants on Thrones.